On July 5th, Iran's regime held its runoff presidential election to choose the successor to Ebrahim Raisi, the former regime president who died in a helicopter crash on May 19th. The first round of the election, held on June 28th, was boycotted by 88% of eligible voters, according to reports obtained by PMOI activists. As the regime opened the polling stations for the second round of the election, it is resorting to desperate tactics to rally its diminishing base to create the impression of a high voter turnout. Regime Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei cast his vote early in the second round of the sham presidential elections and begged the people to come out and vote to legitimize his criminal regime. Khamenei said, "I heard that people's enthusiasm and interest is more than before. I hope to God it is." Other regime officials, such as former President Mohammad Khatami, who brands himself as reformists, also cast his votes in front of the media and pleaded with the people to vote. Brigadier General Amir Ali Hajizada, the commander of the IRGC Aerospace Forces, said, "Every vote is like a missile for the state." However, reports from thousands of polling stations in hundreds of cities indicate that participation in the second round was even less enthusiastic than the first round. Hundreds of videos posted on social media show empty polling stations. According to activists, some polling stations were shut down, and election billboards were taken down as the regime fears protesters will rip or burn them. The regime is also resorting to coercion tactics to force people to vote. Reports from several prisons indicate regime authorities have threatened inmates that if they do not vote, they will be deprived of furlough and basic needs. In many oil refineries, factories, and companies, the regime has forced executives to instruct their employees and workers to vote or face dismissal and other penalties. The regime's Martyrs Foundation, which supposedly serves war veterans and their families, has threatened its beneficiaries that they must vote, or they will be sent for re-evaluation by the medical commission. At the same time, the regime is on high alert and in fear of potential protests. In many polling stations, there is heavy presence of security forces, and the regime has deployed IRGC and Basij forces to counter potential demonstrations. The nationwide boycott of the regime's election is another manifestation of the Iranian people's desire for fundamental change. Iranian people are making it clear in their protests that all regime candidates are the same, and their vote is regime change.
ما از شما بیزاریم. رأی ما سرنگونی. جمعه 15 تیر ماه تهران.